Hello and welcome to the first episode of New Left Radio. And I guess I should describe what New Left Radio is because there is this thing that it would remind people of was the New Left, right? Like Tony Blair and people like that. And that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, that's actually the beginning of a lot of our problems as far as the left wing goes. And it has nothing to do with that. What this concept of a new left is, and I'm focusing on Canada because I'm Canadian and I live here. What it is a return, in some ways, to a leftism that is based on economics. You know, we used to study Marxism in the economics department, right? But now it's been killed off there. I don't care. I don't care that it has been. And I don't really care so much about Marxist theories and whether they're good theories or bad theories, right? What I care about is that people who are working class should be able to have a place to live and enjoy their lives to some extent in a society where, you know, we have a government that watches out for the working class and has laws and rules about not taking advantage of them and manages the country in a way so that a person who works full-time can have a place to live. These are simple things, and these are mostly based on economics. So why do I call it new? Well, for the last 10 years, most of any left wing that we're talking about, that we see discussions going on in North America, is things about punching up and things about getting someone fired from their job because you disagree with them and stuff like that. The concept of solidarity did not exist at all. It totally went away. The concept of economics disappeared completely. We've got people that are making money off of podcasts and all this other crap where they're doing things like criticizing video games and criticizing movies as if they're activists. They're not activists. They're people that are taking advantage of you and providing nothing. And so why am I making this video now? I'm making this video now in Canada because we're getting our just desserts for ignoring the economy, ignoring class. We're getting the just desserts, which are rent being $3,000 a month. People can't buy a house anymore. People can't make a down payment on a house anymore. People's standard of living is in the toilet. Where's the left wing? Where's the NDP? They're doing absolutely nothing. It is a disgrace what the NDP is right now in this country. Now I'm talking about the federal NDP. The provincial NDPs could be, you know, they could have some good ideas. They're not getting a lot of chances. I have absolutely no faith in the federal NDP. The concept, for example, that, we have a dental plan. It's just checks that get sent out to people. That's not a dental plan. Anyone that believes that is a dental plan has not studied anything about economics, and I'm certainly not even an expert on economics at all. But these things are quite obvious, right? So what happened? What was the big thing that happened to the left wing, focusing on the working class, even the middle class, right, and economics? A few things happened. One was the old new left embraced capitalism in a new way. For example, we don't build housing anymore. Governments don't build housing anymore. Okay? Instead, they let speculators speculate to build things like condominiums. So now we have, this is a good example, instead of someone building an apartment building, putting out some money, getting some loans on that, and then renting it out and making a profit, we now have all these little investments. In Toronto, it's for, let's say, a condo for a family is about $1 million. So now you have a developer building the place. an investor or a speculator spending $1 million, and all of that now is getting passed on to the renter, who is now paying the fees of the condo board. There's condo fees, and then they're expected to pay this guy's mortgage, which is what, $750,000 plus a profit for him. That is the stupidest solution for working class housing I've ever heard of. And we're living it now, baby. Now we're living this in Toronto. Thank you, Mike Harris. This was his big thing. Speculation on housing will provide housing. Yeah, it's providing housing where now no one can afford to live anywhere. Thank you. You know? But there's no one to critique this because the left bought into it a long time ago. Where are the liberals? Right? Where are the NDP saying this plan is not going to work? Where are the people that are working against this plan to get back to the point where we can have, a decent economy? They are missing in action. The federal NDP has no solution because they have also bought into this plan. Okay? So, from a right-wing perspective, you could say, oh, our plan has worked gloriously. People are paying more to live now. So we're making money. So some guy buys up 15 condos and he's making all this money. Unlikely, but that's his plan or her plan. And where does this get the economy? These brilliant right-wing minds who come up with these ideas. Where does it get our economy? It gets our economy in the toilet because now no one can afford to live here. So we're losing employees and it's costing businesses. No one can afford to buy anything anymore except for it's just a shrinking percentage of the population who have paid off their home and maybe they're living off of home equity line of credits or whatever. They're doing fine, but they're shrinking. Other people don't have money left. After they pay their rent and the bell bill and food, they've got no money left. That's going to be great for the economy. Thank you so much, you right-wing morons who thought this is going to be good for the economy. We are trashing the economy right now. And that's why I'm finally making this video, because any mention in the past of, hey guys, how about solidarity instead of punching up? And hey, what about class? Doesn't class matter anymore? Oh no, that doesn't matter. We're beyond that now. We're never beyond class. Any person that tells you that, politics doesn't involve class is a liar. We have no time for those fucking people. And we're getting our just desserts for listening to these idiots during this entire time. So, why am I saying this now? Yeah, I've tried in the past to say a few things and no one listens, and everyone was obsessed with being popular. Let's face it, they're not activists. They don't care about the left wing. They don't care about the working class. They aren't even working class. A lot of these people come from middle class and upper class houses, and they're trying to grift on the internet by pretending that they're doing something left wing because, that's considered a good thing to do. But they're achieving nothing for anyone, right? And so I want to go back a little bit. I said that, we used to discuss Marxism as economic theory. And we used to talk about class. And all that changed. And I'm going to give you my belief on why that changed. Well, number one, politicians can succeed very well by actually not addressing those problems, because you have lobbyists and all this other stuff that can make sure that you get elected. So, doing things like, say, shutting down Airbnb, you might not want to do that because maybe Airbnb has lobbyists. Maybe those lobbyists are even NDPers. You might want to look into that, right? So that's one thing. But the other thing is, from an academic perspective, Marxism got kicked out of the economics departments and it got embraced by the sociology departments, right? And here's my feeling about that. The sociology is very important, and it's a way of being able to, we have Statistics Canada and stuff like that. These are important things that you want to be able to measure in your society. Are Are people's lives getting better or worse, for example? That would be a very simple thing that you hire sociologists and statisticians to do that, right? And these are all great things, and they can actually even provide some input into, well, what's the future? Oh, well, we've seen in societies like this, they get to this point and then this happens, and we've seen in societies like this, blah, blah, blah. And so they can even provide some information about where is population growth going? Where's population growth going? And so sociology is very important. But what's happened in sociology with the embracing of Marxism, or, is that now they're becoming activists. And this has always been a dangerous thing in sociology. Sociologists should not be activists. A person should not be on Twitter, for example, as a sociologist dictating what is deviance, what isn't deviance, what should be done against deviance. These are things that we know. We do not want sociologists architecting our society. That's not their specialty. They are statisticians. They are not our ethical backbone in our society. And we're seeing the results of this now, where we are thinking that the sociologists must be the ethical backbone of our society. They're not. And look where we are right now. We're in a place right now where, from a leftist perspective, the economy doesn't matter, apparently. The debt doesn't matter. And, the fact that people can no longer survive in this country doesn't seem to matter. None of that mattered. Nobody was talking about it. No one was talking about class solidarity during all these years. And now we are absolutely in the worst state that I've ever seen this country in my entire life. And I lived through the 70s, and it was a rotten time. It was a rotten time. But you could survive. If you had a job through the 70s and early 80s, even as a single mother, you could make your rent. This seems impossible today. I can't even imagine with the rents that are out there, if you're a single mother in this city. I don't care about race. I don't care about anything, okay, when I'm discussing economics. How do you pay your rent? How do you move? If you're in a neighborhood where there's gangs and your child is threatened, you can't move. I can't move. I make a good living. I can't move in this town. So that is the point that we've gotten ourselves to. And now we have to find a way out of it. And none of the parties in this country are doing anything. Doug Ford tried to give a bunch of land to his friends. And he used the fact that people are homeless and that things are expensive as an excuse for doing it. He doesn't give a shit about you. Trudeau and the Liberal government knew, or they're stupid, that we were having housing issues. Going back a few years, things were getting too expensive. There were not places for people to live. They don't care. They bring in 2 million more people who now, they also can't find a place to live. We've got places, totally illegal rentals now going on all over Ontario, where foreigners are being targeted and being charged $700 to $1,000 a month for a bed. A bed. And it's not even in a room often that is their own. It's one bed and there may be another bed in that room. It's totally illegal what is going on. The government doesn't care. They don't care. And all you have to do is listen to the Liberals. They keep doubling down. We've got colleges in this province that are charging foreign students an arm and a leg to get into the college and then providing nothing. And these people are living in shelters because there's nowhere for them to live. I don't know what percentage of them, but it's an absolute disgrace. And it's an embarrassment for our country around the world. But this is now our country, okay? Our economy is based on inflated real estate, a bit of oil, taking advantage of foreigners, and I don't even know what else. A bit of the auto industry, right? And our port. So our economy has gone to crap. And I think a lot of it is because people have not been paying attention to that. They acted like it didn't matter. Class doesn't matter. Economics don't matter. These things matter so substantially. This is how countries fail. Let them eat cake, right? The country was failing. Now, actually, that's a quote that's not actually attributable, but whatever. That's how societies fall apart. We have a society now that could easily fall apart. We have a society where someone could be making $80,000 a year, get rent evicted, and be living on the streets. And what is that person thinking, and what are they going to do? We've got, I think probably we're on our third generation of people that it may be impossible for most of them to ever have children. What does that do to a society where people can't even have children anymore? And why come here? Why be here? Why move to a place where you can't even have children anymore? You know, I don't know why. The place is so popular, but it is. So I think a lot of things got twisted about what was good about leftism in the past. Like, for example, multiculturalism has done, I don't even want to call it multiculturalism. Immigration from diverse areas of the world has made this a better country, you know? And so we've learned that, and we accept that, and we say, okay, let's move on. You know, immigration is good. But the thing that people don't, what happens is people forget immigration is an economic policy, not refugees, but immigration. The reason you have immigration is to make up for deficiencies in your society, right? But you have to be responsible. You can't just bring in as many people as you want where they have no place to live. This is going to be a cold winter for a lot of these people that have no experience with minus 20 and minus 30 degree weather. There are people on the streets from outside of this country that paid everything to get here. So I got a little bit emotional there because it's just like when you travel around, even in this city, and you see the tents all over the place, you're just like, if it's a cold winter, it's going to be brutal for these people. It's absolutely disgusting. And no one was standing up for this because nobody believes economics matter. So how did we get to that point that people don't think economics matter? Low interest rates. People can have as much money as they want. Houses are getting inflated like crazy. They can pull money out of their home equity. It was literally, since 2009 in Canada, free money if you have a good credit rating. So we split our society. If you don't have a good credit rating, you're dirt poor. If you do have a good credit rating, you can buy a house, you can get a home equity line of credit, you can buy another house off of that, you can set up an Airbnb, and you can do all this other stuff, and everyone else is screwed. And the prices go through the roof, and people's lives start to fall apart. You know, that's really what it comes down to, is that people did not believe that class and economics have anything to do with the left wing anymore. And they may pay lip service to it. They'll say, we want a $15 an hour wage. But that is ethereal. What does it matter if someone's getting $15 an hour when suddenly their rent is $2,000 or $3,000 a month? They're dying. They're now just waiting for the landlord and tenant board to finally kick them out, because they can't afford any place to live. That's where we've gotten. So, you know, I waited a long time to do this because people get upset and they think, you don't like immigration, or you think that money's more important than other things. What I'm talking about is that solidarity is important. Economics is important. You can't just print money and not have that impact people's lives. People's expenses will go through the roof. It's either going to happen because there's too much money in circulation, or it's going to happen because our dollar gets devalued and all imports become incredibly expensive. And we've seen that in Canada. Our dollar is going down now as well. So we've gotten ourselves into such a bad state now that we don't actually have a fix. We can't build homes quickly enough. A lot of companies don't want to build homes because interest rates are high, and yet we have the federal government and the provincial government saying they're going to build homes to solve this. It's not going to solve it. So now we've gotten ourselves to the point where there's only one solution to our problem, and that is people are going to spend all of their money on their rent and on their food and the necessities. There's going to be nothing left over. There's going to be a huge recession. People are going to lose their jobs while housing prices are way too high, while rents are way too high. They're going to end up on the streets. And that's going to finally cool down the economy, and it's going to nail a bunch of these problems. And then what's going to happen is the younger generation is going to leave. People with an option, people that have citizenship in other countries, are going to leave because there's going to be no reason to be here. So that is the grand solution to our problems. The government is not going to save us. They have intentionally done this from Harris's day all the way through, Harper, and then Trudeau has not really reversed a lot of the stuff through Harper's reign, and they just don't care. They never did care. They don't care now, and they don't have a solution to these problems. So unfortunately, it's every man and woman and child for themselves while we wait for society to buckle under the pressure, and then we hope that something good comes out of it. I don't know what good is going to come out of it. I'm living in Toronto right now. We are being told that the subway trains on Line 2 are reaching end of age and we can't replace them. We just had like a 10-year economic boom, and somehow we're broke. And you can't blame COVID for that. Absolute mismanagement. Low property taxes. Tory insisted he cannot increase property taxes. He would rather see the city fall apart and for crime to be everywhere as we have a society that is completely split economically. And that's what we've gotten. So I'm going to give the slow clap to all of the politicians that did nothing, and they protected their ass, and they put as much as they could into getting this housing bubble going and continuing and kicking the can down the road. They're totally powerless now. I don't know what's coming down the road. But the reason I made this video is we better think about what we want down the road. It's not about voting for someone anymore. I don't care who gets in. Pierre is going to save the day, right? How is he going to save the day? We have based our economy on principles that he espouses. He's going to make things worse. Harris is a buddy of his. Harris trashed this province, There's nothing's coming from the Tories, but that's okay. Vote out the Liberals, give them 0 seats. I don't care. It's not about who you vote for anymore in this country. It is about holding the people that get elected accountable every day. That's what activism is. Activism isn't going on the internet and complaining about a movie. Activism is saying, this is unfair, we don't accept it, and we're going to contact every single person that represents us in every level of government, and we're going to hold them accountable, and we're going to make their lives difficult if they're making the wrong decisions. And that doesn't exist in Canada, and that's what we're going to have to do. So I don't care who gets in. They're going to have a rough time. If anyone thinks they want to be in government over the next 5 years, as this country absolutely falls apart and people get more and more angry, they're going to learn a lesson. You're actually going to have to work. You're actually going to have to get things done because people are fed up. We've seen where Trudeau is right now. Everyone loved him a little while ago. Now, people's lives are so bad, they may get 0 seats if this continues, right? And people try to split, like the boomers versus the millennials. Even the boomers are seeing that their grandchildren can't afford a place to live. Their grandchildren, what's their point in going to university and going broke when they can't even afford a place to live? Sorry, I've had a cold. So, I think I've said things well enough. The thing is, economics do matter. My God, I'm so sick. Economics do matter. And voting isn't the last word on democracy. We're seeing what's happening to Doug Ford right now as well, because people are fed up with him. So the people do have a voice, and we're going to have to raise it more and more and more. But watch out for the wolf in sheep clothing, because the Tories have never, ever done anything that is absolutely for the working class. And it's to their detriment, because they think by ripping off the working class, they're going to have a better economy. Well, we've just ripped off the working class completely, and our economy is about to be trashed. And the same thing's happening in the UK right now. So the Tories, the business-minded Tories, they don't have any solutions. They're morons just like everyone else. They like to walk around with a nice suit and pretend that they understand what's going on. But you just have to look at, I forget her name now. Like, she's gone from politics in the UK. Liz, whatever her name is. She's gone, and she's an embarrassment because she doesn't know anything. And her advisors didn't know anything. And the Tories in Ontario don't know anything, and they don't care. So this is a new age that we're moving into. Leftism is going to embrace economics. And it's going to hold people's feet to the fire. And there's going to be more activism because people are fed up. And things are about to get real again. We're not going to be sitting around complaining about characters in movies. We're talking about real life shit now. That's what's happening. That's the new left. It has to come because it has no choice. And it doesn't even have to be left wing. People are pissed off. People want things fixed. And people are sick of living in a dream world that doesn't exist. So I will, every once in a while, create a new video, and hopefully it will be inspirational to people. It's not the end, but there are certainly, things do not look good in this country right now. Thank you to the people who are true activists and who have been out there fighting for the working class through all of this and ignoring and sometimes supporting. There are issues with race and gender. These issues exist. We just can't make one single issue the only issue that we fight for. And we cannot forget about solidarity, and we cannot forget about how important it is for every single person that works to have a place to live and a standard of living that we find acceptable. It's possible. We've had it before. We're going to get it again. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.